wanted to talk about this time around. I know, like, that's actually rare that I actually have topics to talk about for the conference, but here's something that we're working on right now. Here's something that we're actually struggling. So I was supposed to get a lecture series together to discuss love languages and type. The problem is that after researching love languages pretty hard, I realized that either the love languages system is flawed or that the 5 love languages are nurture only. It's one or the other. So some of the flaws that we had identified with the love languages specifically is that some love languages are missing. They're missing. Like it's an incomplete system. So, like, for example, I know one missing love language is thoughtfulness, being thoughtful, because FITE users need TI users being thoughtful towards them, right? They absolutely need that. They really, really want that, but it's not. It's just not something that that they're really working on. And here's another thing too. Like, from a love language point of view, look at it this way: you have extroverted love languages and you have introverted love languages as well. So the system of love languages is inherently flawed and not exactly something that I can lecture in a cohesive, systematic way. I'd have to be really interest-based, which means I'd have to be very nurtural. And because there's just no real way to logic it out until I understand a lot more about it. But just looking at the 5 love languages, as we could tell, it's like, okay, well, can I attach a cognitive function to it? Can I attach a cognitive axis to it? You know what I'm saying? Like, at what level do these things attach? And then how do you prioritize those things? You see what I'm saying? Like, so this is one of the struggles that we've been having. I know that the love languages was one of the the private lecture series that was requested for Patreon Gold tier, but it's like, okay, how do we go about doing this, right? So
So, Chase, I'm not familiar with them really. What are the 5 that are recognized?
Okay, so the 5 love languages, there's 5. So the first one, quality time, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
The second one is gifts.
Okay.
And then we have acts of service, words of affirmation,
Mm-hmm.
and physical touch.
Okay.
All right, hold on.
You mentioned thoughtfulness is potentially one, right? That may be missing.
Yeah, thoughtfulness may be one that's missing. So yeah. Oh, Matt might be coming in here. All right, cool. So yeah, that's one of the issues. All right.
I was thinking about that actually, how the thoughtfulness thing, I feel like it kind of ties into the words of affirmation, because you're speaking your thoughts, I guess, in a way, unless of course it's deceitful.
Yeah, words of affirmation could be like a very FE thing, and they could be very thoughtful, but you could also give very thoughtful gifts too, right? That's why this is like super complicated. You know what I'm saying? This is complicated. So Maddie here, he's helping me work on this project, trying to identify, like, what is the system? Because, like, think about it. We'll use Jay as an example. So Jay, he's an INFJ, right? And what are the INFJ love languages, right? Well, it's a little different depending on who you're talking to, because it could be very nurtural, but INFJs, they do like words of affirmation, sure. They like to give gifts to other people, make them feel good. They're very thoughtful to other people. Now, they really, really like quality time. They like that SE inferior just needs that quality time to really spend with other people, because that's where the magic is. You know what I'm saying? And then, and physical touch is important to an INFJ too, typically, but usually they're giving physical touch, not receiving physical touch. This is why I maintain that there's extroverted and introverted love languages depending on which type that you're dealing with, right? So there's a lot of different, complications there. So what do? You know what I'm saying? So, like, what is the system? Automatically that people the same type have similar love languages, But how are they similar? Why are they similar? What's the system? There is a system in there. And of course, as an intellectual, as an NP, I'm like, okay, well, I like to be systematic, right? And actually find that system and share that system, right? But right now, the 5 love languages as a model is very limited. I can't exactly attach each language to like a cognitive function. I can't attach each language to, a cognitive axis, right? Some kind, like what we have on the board up here. The 4 cognitive axes up there in the corner. But like we have all these different things, right? So what do you do? Like what is the system? Or look at it this way: maybe there's missing love language. Because I think thoughtfulness should definitely be a love language. Why? Because, for example, Jay and Luann here, especially Luann, is extremely thoughtful in like everything they do all the time. Well, it's true. It's true.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
What
Nice.
type? What type are you, Jay?
Megan?
I'm an INFJ.
Oh, okay. All right.
What about
Yeah,
you?
NFJs are very thoughtful. Nice, Jay.
I was going to ask you, Jay. So those 5, the 5 accepted love languages. I guess you're in agreement that those are love languages. So it's not like some of them. I mean, it's not like we necessarily need to tear down the existing model or whatever it really is. We just need to build it and develop it out, right? Okay.
Exactly. Now, hey, so Maddie, what were some of your suggestions that you made recently?
So I was saying, it's possible that you have sort of your high level ones and then your low level ones. So if you were to split the model in half, each type would probably have things that they're more likely to have and then less likely to have, sort of having to do with your what's in your ego and then what's in your shadow, maybe.
Right.
And then within that, the order of them would be based on your nature or your nurture, and what you grew up with. Some things would be more physical. Some things would be more, if you were SE, high S, and other things would be more abstract if you were high N.
Interesting. Okay. So like high S, so you could have high introverted sensing or high extroverted sensing, or maybe they could be in like pessimistic or optimistic slots, and it changes the priority levels, what you're saying.
Right.
Okay.
So like for me, ENTP, gifts are really low. Like,
yeah, I was about to say that. Wow, we're like right on the right track there.
Gifts and also acts of service really are sort of low for me, because they're more physical acts. They're things, but quality time is one of those things that's, spending time together, doing something interesting that expands your mind is more something for me. And then words of affirmation.
So
and not even words of affirmation, but words, conversation, having discussion about deep topics, things like that. Somebody being able to or talking about how they feel maybe hits my FE child.
Right.
So Maddie, you mentioned gifts are low priority for you. You mean in terms of giving or receiving? Because I mean, there again, we probably have this kind of one way or another, right?
Yeah, that's a good idea or a good thought. I think for me, getting is really low priority, like very low. Giving, I give, but usually it's something that is like, I'll give a gift that can be shared in a way that it'll spawn quality time.
Ah.
What's an
So
example of
your extroverted giving is high, but your introverted giving is low. Is what you're saying.
Yeah. But the gift is always to create quality time.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like giving a gift of going to a class or something where you can
Okay.
go learn
Right.
something
Go ahead, Luann.
together.
No, that had been my question. What's an example of a gift that you could do to get the quality time from? So I understand now.
Yeah, or like a video
Okay.
game or something that you can play together, kind of thing.
But yeah, like I've always just been trying to figure that out. Like, it's like, okay, well, what is I mean, I don't know. I mean, do you guys think like thoughtfulness may be a love language that's missing, or is there other potentially missing ones? I mean, because like I just don't think that the 5 would necessarily be it. I just don't, because I mean I love receiving. I like receiving a touch a lot. Oh, and one other thing I forgot to mention. So when it comes to like romantic relationships, people like having their romantic relationships centered around their subconscious, right? So when you're having a romantic relationship, the priorities of romance, the priorities of sexuality, those priorities are really centered around your subconscious more than anything else. It's what allows you to be just absolutely comfortable. Like, like ISFJ subconscious for me, it really, really, really needs physical touch. I get starved for physical touch, even if like I've not even touched a human being and gotten a hug or even shaking a hand or something like that. Like I actually feel, yeah. So like, anyway, like back to the subconscious. So yeah, the subconscious is where your love languages really come out, and like introverted sensing hero of the ISFJ is my subconscious. And like, it really likes to receive physical touch. It really likes to give gifts. It really likes to be thoughtful, and it offers thoughtful words of affirmation. And it's also all about, like, here's another thing, like, here's another potential love language. And I'm being kind of selfish though, from my point of view, and please, anyone else, if there's like an SE user or something, because I like to think like giving quality time is more of an SE thing, receiving quality time is more of an SI thing, or maybe it's not. I don't know. There's also, but like feeling wanted, feeling desired, right? That's a very NE thing. Would that be a love language too? You know what I'm saying? Like, because I look at the needs and the wants of the types. So actually, let me read. Go ahead, Louis.
That is fascinating, because my husband has the same thing. He has this need to be desired and wanted, and he's an INT.
Yeah.
And I don't think people would often assume that about INTPs, that they have such a serious need to be desired.
Yeah, I would assume that for sure. But yeah, like NTPs, like me and Matt here, we need to be wanted. It's like we need to be sought after, consistently. I was talking, so it's just those kinds of things. And how does that masculine and feminine energy play into the love languages? Like, so, and like Matt just said, like, gifts are just not a priority. Do I care about receiving gifts? No, I don't care. I just don't. Do I want to give gifts and be thoughtful about it? Absolutely. I'm not here to give or receive gifts. I'm here to give gifts, right? So I know, like, intuitively speaking, that there is some kind of system there with the love languages, because they do have some kind of obvious attachment to human nature in some way. You know what I'm saying? With INFJs though, it gets complicated. Like, so Mr. J, so my mentor, he's an INFJ, right? And one of the things that I would do for him we go to a gun show, right? And when you're at a gun show, yes, there's lots of guns and ammo everywhere, but every now and then there's books or there's this person with trinkets, with like lots of shiny little trinkets. And INFJs, they like shinies. They do. They just like shinies. And so what I'm like, okay, and he just fell in love with this spear, this copper spear. It's about half the size of a baseball. Well, actually, no, about 3/4 of the size of a baseball in diameter, we'll say. And very nice piece of copper. He loved that thing. I don't know why he loved that thing, but he loved it. So what I did is I bought it for him. I bought, gave it to him much later, but I bought it for him and gave him this copper spear, and he was just so delighted over that, So INFJs at times, they give gifts to other people, but you know what? Every now and then they like to receive them too. See what I'm saying? And that's because, for example, their F functions, the INFJs are masters of feeling because they have pessimistic FE parent and pessimistic FI critic, which means they can feel the full spectrum. Just like Matt and I, we can think the whole spectrum, right?
Yeah.
So, and because we have TI parent, TE critic, we can think the whole spectrum. So I think it's just that we have like a little bit less awareness here and there for like rationale and whatnot. So it's like, okay, what do you do? So I don't know. But these are the things that plague my mind when it comes to love languages, and how to create a system where people can leverage the love languages to optimize their relationships. That's the real thing. So what are your thoughts?
Well, one is motivation, but back to the gifts. To me, it's, I'm not one to really like getting gifts unless they're thoughtful gifts. So
or you feel you deserve them.
Well, I try not to think that way.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You shouldn't.
But it could be just a little trinket or something. But if someone really was thoughtful about it, then it means a lot to me. It's more about the why. Why did they get that gift? What did they see? As opposed to just getting me something that, some physical piece, with no real meaning behind it. I'd rather just, they just not give me a gift if that was, if they just pulled something off the shelf. I mean, my mother used to give me Stetson cologne every Christmas for like 20 years. And I hate Stetson cologne. I don't wear cologne at all. But she just pull it off. She just pull it off the shelf, and that's what I would get. So I think you get the point there.
I'm the same way. I used to think that I didn't like gifts at all, but I like thoughtful gifts. It's just the gifts like you were talking about that don't mean much to me.
Yeah. If they don't mean much to the person giving them, then I don't want them. They don't mean much to me either. So.
Right.
Yeah, for me, instead of thoughtful gifts, like it's more like useful gifts that move the needle. Things that are related to the things that I enjoy doing, or things that could be done together. Maybe things that I can learn something from, or things I can teach somebody about. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what's up, Aiden?
Not much. How are you guys all doing today?
Awesome. Hey, go ahead, continue. Sorry for interrupting.
It's all right. Periodically, though, I mean, there will be that one gift that comes from somebody, like a family member, that reminds me of like a really good thing from my childhood. I guess that's my SI inferior. And those, when I get those gifts, like I got something from my aunt that belonged to my grandmother who passed away. And it was something that I remember from when I was like 3 or 4 looking at in her bedroom, and just like I broke down just bawling because it touched that really deep inside memory of those times, right? So it's something, it was really getting that SI inferior, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? You make a really good point, because I got a gift one time, and I might be able to show it to you folks. Hold on, let me see if I can find it here. And I still hold on to it. I mean, who wouldn't hold on to this? Like, who wouldn't? Like, anyone with a brain would hold on to this. But let's hold on. I gotta pull it out of these blankets, because these blankets protect them, and I have to hide them for people for obvious reasons, as you'll see in a second. So my grandfather, I was given this. You guys guess what it is? No. I was given this by my grandfather just before he died. This was his rifle, right? So, and that's an excellent gift. Not only that, a gun is very important to introverted sensing, because introverted sensing is the function for protection, right? And the function for safety. Being able to provide safety for others as a result of making itself feel safe. And a weapon does that, right? So, that's kind of the direction. Got a little rust on it. I got to take care of this thing. Got to wipe it down with some oil. Take care of it a little bit more. But this is like the best 22 I've ever had. And it's basically an heirloom, So heirlooms go a really long way for, for ENTPs or introverted sensors, right? So you'd agree with that, Matt?
Yeah. It's funny, because I've gotten people mace.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. I've done that too.
Yeah. Jump starters for their cars, so that they're safe on the road, so they don't break down. But also.
Oh yeah, like those units.
Yeah. Something
I've gotten
portable.
those too for my dad.
Yeah.
I got him that for Christmas. Wow, dude.
The sentimentality of the gift, like, it's not immediately thoughtful, like in this right now thoughtful. It's thoughtful, like, all the way back.
Right.
Yeah, it's sort of memory thoughtful, and sentimentality. Those are good gifts. Besides that, everything that's temporal, things that are right now, is not really doesn't really move the needle for me. And I don't even think about it too much.
Give me a gift, because remember, there's a difference between a gift and a present, right? So present is something you are presenting to somebody. A present is something you're giving something to somebody because you want to give it to them. It has nothing to do with what they want, right? A gift is you are giving somebody a gift because you know it's what they want, what they desire, what they are looking for. So two different things. That also complicates the love language of gift giving, if you think about it. So,
but I mean, that's how I
you're
grew
right.
up.
It's definitely, that's definitely something that's human nurture related. That's why talking about love language is so difficult, is because of human nurture. You see what I'm saying? So this is insanely difficult to come up with like a way to, figure it out, because nature and nurture is very present. Because I typically expect like physical touch, quality time from an INTJ is what I typically expect. But they're like, no. I want words of affirmation and I want gifts. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, that's different, I guess. That's very different for an INTJ that I've ever really expected, and that was just weird to me. That was just weird. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely something very, very nurtural there. Something very nurtural. And I'm just not entirely I mean, I'm not sure. I really don't know where the rubber meets the road between the two, because there's definitely some nurtural influences there that adjust love languages. So maybe there's like a looser framework there. You know, okay, here's the kinds of love languages, regardless of order, that this particular type would be interested in, but it can change based on nurture or something. I mean, I may end up having to make that specific argument, right? But what's the truth? That's what I want. I just want the facts. You know what I'm saying? So
How about,
I,
so
I
you've had a lot of contact with INTJs. Do they typically enjoy gifts a lot?
I for one can say that I don't typically enjoy gifts. I mean, people will give me gifts, and I usually, unless it's something really useful, like a pocket knife, which I already have so many of because people have given them to me, and at this point in time, it's useless. Unless it's something that's useful to my day-to-day life, and I'll use it every single day, I usually don't like it. So it's like I'll get it and I'll be like, I don't feel that great about receiving it because I'm gonna give them a bad experience because I'm not so happy to receive it, and then that just eats me up inside, and that's not fun. So I would say not always, but definitely nurture based to an extent for sure. So
And I can confirm as well, it's the same for me as INTJ. Gifts is the lowest. I just don't like clutter. I don't like waste of my space. All these gifts are just junk for me. Something, you know, thoughtful gifts are different story, but like all these small things, like they clutter the room. If something I can like consume right away and forget, well, maybe. That's but
can you
what
say
to
that again,
confirm?
Ivan?
Yes.
Like so from a gift standpoint, could you walk us through that again one more time? Kind of missed a line there.
I don't like that it takes space. I don't want all these gifts cluttering around in the room. You know, I don't like to collect things. That's why I hate gifts. And but if I find a gift which fits some person, I will be happy to give like thoughtful gift to someone. But I don't like gifts to accept.
Yeah.
So and in terms of priorities, you said quality time, physical touch, that's the major for me. Then service and words of affirmation, and gifts are the lowest.
Huh.
I would agree with that.
Yeah,
So,
that's the priority.
For the INTJs, quick question with the gift. Does it change if the gift was expected or a gift was a surprise?
Well, thoughtful gift is always not just a gift. That's something else. You cannot. When in terms of 5 languages of love, when they mean gift, they don't mean thoughtful gift. They just mean something small, really like nice, like even postcard or something, and people already like it. I think thoughtful gift is a different category, so I wouldn't compare.
So it's almost
just random gift.
I would agree with that. If it's something that, I mean, you asked in terms of like the surprise versus knowing whether or not we're going to be receiving it, and I mean, if I know I'm going to be receiving it, it's probably something that I asked for and I need. If my mom offers to get me something and I don't want it, I'll usually tell her right away that I don't want it because I don't need it. And so if I'm receiving it, I know about it, probably yes. But if it's a total surprise, I usually I feel bad about, I guess not somebody not getting a great experience because I didn't enjoy it so much as they would expect me to enjoy it.
Yes, and I agree. Yes.
Yes.
I'm the same way.
But if it is thoughtful gift, then surprise, like it's mind blowing for me. Like that's awesome.
Yeah.
I would always prefer surprise, thoughtful surprise. That's great.
Yeah, I've experienced that with other INTJs. That surprise element, or being a surprise, it almost makes it like it was, you can feel more thoughtfulness, more significance come from that.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And because of that, probably I like to do surprises, and I see sometimes people don't like that this is surprise. I don't know. Yeah.
I know INTJs don't like it as a surprise. I know that for a fact, because then they're like, hey, you're being really sneaky right now. I'm not sure I could trust you. What's going on? You know? And I'm like, I ain't saying shit. And then they're like, yeah, but you're exhibiting weird behavior. Are you cheating on me? I don't know how many times I've heard that from an INJ. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
Well, Chase, what I'm hearing though, just listening to the conversation, is that there sounds like, at least on gift giving, because that's what we've been focused on, is that there's a compatibility issue here. And it would be interesting to see if the compatibility for gift giving, not just the giving of the gift, but the type of gift given is.
that's a good point. Didn't think of that.
Is that consistent with like a golden pair and that compatibility?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean, you know, I'd just be curious to study that a little bit. The other thing I was thinking about was just this idea of thoughtfulness. I mean, to me, the thoughtfulness is the love. It's almost like more of an umbrella over everything else.
I agree. I was just thinking about that as well, because what's the difference between a thoughtful gift and a thoughtful act of service? So sometimes my husband he'll see that I need something and he'll just order it for me, and then I'll have it and it feels very good. But is it a gift or is it an act of service? I mean, it kind of feels the same way. Both of them do.
Yep.
This is why I maintain the love languages need to be completely redefined.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Complete redefinition.